Good morning, everybody, again. It feels good, doesn't it? Isn't that some great energy we just created? We did that. We were just moving it through this room. All right. I was reading my notes from the universe this week, and one of my great messages said, "Life is where one goes, Darlene, to temporarily believe in death, to fleetingly forget their power, and to briefly have the dickens scared out of them voluntarily in the name of adventure. It's kind of like jumping off a perfectly good airplane times a billion." Yeah, that's a good message. So this morning, I want to address some of those so-called adventures that we take ourselves on, okay? Because what tends to happen is that after a while of being in that adventure, after it's all gotten started and we've been playing in that room for a while, we forget that there was a door that led us into that room, okay? And we get so entangled in the experience, we also forget that there's a door that'll let us out of that room. For those Star Trek people here, it's like being on the holodeck, okay? And we forget to say, "Computer, end program," okay? End program now, all right? Because we do have that power. Okay, so my topic this morning is No Child Left Behind. And I want to talk about some of those various escapades that we take ourselves on. And I want to talk about how we do go about forgetting who we are and where we are and the truth of ourselves. So No Child Left Behind, I know you know that I'm not talking about that standards-based reform bill that was enacted in 2001 by the Bush administration. You know that, right? Nobody came to hear that, did they? Okay, good. I want to make sure we're on the same page, all right? And I'm also not talking about any physical law. I'm talking about spiritual law that we can depend on every single time. And while we're getting clear about what we're talking about, I want to also get clear about what children we're talking about. In Psalms 82:6, we're told, "I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High." All of you, without exception. Now that's pretty clear, isn't it? There are no exceptions. No child is left behind. Absolutely no person is exempt from the love of God, from the truth of God, and from the infinite gifts of God. None of us are exempt. Now, how many of you knew that? How many? Okay, we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Okay. All right. And it's those perceived exceptions and exemptions to the truth that we build into our thought processes, that we build into our lives. Oftentimes in the course of the adventures that we give ourselves, where we're believing in death, we're believing that we're doomed, we're forgetting our power, we're forgetting our entitlement. I'm going to say that word again, entitlement. That word makes some people uncomfortable, so that's why I'm saying it again. Entitlement, because we are divinely entitled, okay? And we give ourselves various maladies that actually scare us half to death. Right? We forget that the truth of us, and we forget that the truth of us is without exception. No exceptions. Dr. Holmes tells us in the Science of Mind textbook, he said, truth is absolute and remains unaffected by the opinions, desires, or beliefs of humanity. Now, you're going to hear those words a few times during the course of this talk because I'm going to remind you of that over and over and over again. 14 little words. His words are very simple, and yet they are very profound. I'm going to read them again. Truth is absolute and remains unaffected by the opinions, desires, or beliefs of humanity. Very simple, very profound. And hopefully by the time we leave here today, you'll be hearing how profound they are. Dr. Holmes also told us in Change Your Thinking, he said, we are indeed children on the pathway of life. We cry out over its hurts and are bewildered by its apparent contradictions. See, now he's talking about me. See, I don't know if he's talking about you or not, but he's talking about me because I have had those times in my life where I have cried out. I have cried out over the hurts and the fears of the situations that are going on in my life that appear to contradict a universe of love. He's talking to me. He's talking to me. But he's also telling me that it's because of something that I've forgotten. And what is it that I forgot? I forgot that truth is absolute and remains unaffected by the opinions, desires, or beliefs of humanity. That's why I'm crying out. Because I forgot that. See, we have to remember that these contradictions that we have in our life are things that we have written into our own life script. We wrote those things in. They're not original to truth. And the thing is that there are messages everywhere. And we get to choose which ones of them we're going to take into our lives. They're scare tactics. We incorporate them into our adventures and our escapades. I was watching TV the other day, and Allstate Insurance is telling us that mayhem is everywhere. Did you know that? Protect yourself. Have you heard it? It's wonderful. I was like, every time I see it, I laugh. And I love the mayhem character, you know. But recognize that's a scare tactic, okay? In fact, my sister's doing her talk on that this morning.